Okay, you started again correctly. Okay, it's okay, but that error will come again. Then I'll show you how to fix it. So React master, let me start npm run test, and we'll finish this user profile. Okay, so I started it. Now let's see what we have to do. Localhost. We have to start with the user profile. Okay, so this is my user profile. So this first name and last name are coming from users table. Okay, let me start again. So that is coming from here. First name and last name are coming from here. So in the user table, I will put first name, last name, username, email, and the picture. These all things will go into the user table. But all other fields, we will be creating hundreds of fields for that user that will go inside another table that is called user details table. So right now we have few fields here in this page. Let's try to put that field in the new table, and we will be adding more fields later here in this user profile. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So once I click the submit button, I get the all data in the variable called the values. Now we have to take these values and insert it into the table user details. So how to insert it in the table? We'll go through and refer our document. This is the object. So in the object, we have to create the object, saving object. So we have to first put this line. Though variable name I will change it, table name I will change it, but we have to start with these two lines of the statement. So let's put it here in this page. Let's say, just I'll name it post. Whatever table name is, it's okay, but I'll name it as post. And here I will put a table name, that is the user details. And this one will start with a small post, and this part will refer to this post. So we have two posts, one is with capital letter, one with small letter. So we call the capital letter from the small letter. And in the capital part, we will name the table name, that is the user details. Now, after these two lines, we have to go on stating like this. Okay, so let's try again. I will say post.set. So first I'll put a field name, that is the birth year. And then I have to put a value. What is the value? Value will be values.birth year. But I want that birth year should be numeric. So I will put values.birth year inside a parseInt method. So I'll put it parseInt because I want to convert it into the integer, and second parameter to be passed here as 10. This is a parseInt. So I convert the parse here into the int. I can take whole birth date, with year, date, and month. But right now I'm only taking birth year. Maybe I will add another field with birth date, birth month, birth year. I can put all, or I can take the birth date with all three in one place. Then I want to put about me. So I'll say post.set about me, and here I'll pass values dot about me. So this is the initialization, and then we set the variables. Also, okay, let's complete this. Then I have to do save part. So I will say after this, I will say post dot save. Okay, so inside the save, I will not put inside save. I will put then and the error message. So this is a promise. So we need to follow it with then and catch block. Both have arrow function inside it. Right now I'll not do with any error kind of thing, but I'll do console.log. And here data will come that it is posted successfully. So I'll check what is posted successfully. Data will be the complete data, what is posted. So what I am doing, I am taking the user details and I am trying to put it in the another table, user details. I put all these details inside the user details. If we add more fields, I will try to add line here, like birth date, gender, all things will come here after this one. Right now we don't have, so we don't update it. Also, we need to give the ACL permission. Without ACL, who will be able to edit it or view it, that also we have to tell. So I will go through the ACL part to see how to enter permission. Yeah, you need to add post dot set all 100 attributes. You can go with one JSON also. That I will show you 1 second. Let me. We'll see to put that one, but putting one at one time, you may have little. You should be assured that all data is correct. Otherwise, like here, we have to change it like this one. So if you pass all, then all has to be corrected. We'll see that also. If we can pass all, let's see. In the objects, we can pass like set, or we can also pass the whole object here inside the save. So either you do set key value pair, or you can directly pass the complete object of 100 attributes like this in the object in the save part. Okay, so you will avoid this set again and again. You have all the values, put it in object and just pass the object inside the save. Okay, let's see ACL. Okay, so we need to create the ACL also. So let me see how to create the ACL for this one. Okay, so this is the way we have to add the ACL. So we have to start with the new ACL. So here I will say constant ACL is equal to new parse ACL. First I have to create ACL. Then I have to give the permission who can access it. So first I will start with the read permission ACL dot set public read access. So public can read whatever you are putting. Public should be able to read it. Otherwise, who will see your birth year? Who will see your about me? No one can see it if you don't give public read access. And inside we have to say true. If I say false here, then public will not be able to see it. So if I want to say true, then I can pass true here. And I will set public write access to false. I don't want public to write it. Who can write? Only I can write. So I want to make public write access to false. I don't want public to write it. Then I have to give the read access to myself. Okay. So I'll give ACL dot set write access to myself. Write should be only allowed by me. And here I have to pass who has the write access. So it will be the current user. This current user should have the access of write. And second parameter I have to make true. If I don't pass true, then it will consider as false and I won't be able to write it. After that, I have to set ACL. So after these lines, I have to say post.set ACL. What is the spelling? Set ACL. And I have to give the ACL name. This is the ACL. Okay, so I just give the ACL. So who can read? Public can read. Who can write? I can write. Who public can write? No. So I have to give false to public and write to this one. I can remove this part also because anyhow, if I don't put it, it is already false. So I'll just put two lines. Public read and write access to myself. And I set it here. Okay, so this is the permission part we have to give. If we don't give this permission, then everyone can write it. I don't want anyone to write it on my post. So I should only able to write it. Okay, let's check this one. But this is not yet done because we need to take care of the first name and last name also. And those two should be updated in the user table. This is updated in the user details table. Okay, so let's try to update other things. Okay, so I updated it. Let's check what if any error is coming or no. So it's saying data posted and in the class name user details, and these are the about me and birth year. Let's check it in the database. We get the user details table and we have the birth year and about me. Is that okay? So we are able to add it here inside it, and in the ACL we see public can read and I can read and write both the things. Now the problem is in the user detail table it should be only one record for each user, because if I try to do it again it will create a new record. It will not update this record. So we need to update this record if it is not there. If it is there, if this record is already there, we need to update it. Right now what's happening? It is only inserting it. Okay, so think about this. If okay, I need to add one more value in this one, because right now I added the record, but which user has created this? Though it is in the ACL, but I also want to point the user in the column also. Which user has created this record? So that piece is missing. So we need to add one more piece here. Post.state, and I will say user who has created that. Which user has created this post? Which user has updated this post? So I have to pass the current user in it. Okay, current user. So if this field is missing, next time if user wants to update it, he won't be able to update it, because we should put this in the table that which user has updated it. So let me refresh it. So though, okay, I will try again. Let's refresh this part. So now two records are created. Forget about the first record which was created with incorrect field. So this second record is the one with user who created it. If I want to see it, I can see this user has created it. So what I did, I added user field about me and birth year. I can add more fields, it will come here. But I should have only one record for that user. I cannot have multiple records for that user. So here, so I need this object which I want to update it. So whenever the user will come here second time, he should see whatever he has put it before, and when he update it, it should update it. It should not create the new record. Okay, so we will do that one. So before I put that part, just put in the user profile, in the handle submit, just put these lines of the code, and then we'll go further. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes to write down this one. So Ashok Kumar, you already have my code up to date. So whenever you did a git clone, and whenever you put it on the left side, you will see my name, and inside it React and master, you have the updated code there. So you have to just go through each file and try to create same thing in your folder. Okay, so if you have not written, you can write it along with me. I will go now to see how to edit it. Now tell me one thing. Right now I created this post. Now I want to edit it if it is already there. How will I do that? What changes I should do in this function so that I can edit it? When someone click update profile. Right now if I click update profile, it will create a new record because we are creating the new record. So what is the first step? So that I should get the data first, and then when user will click this update profile, I should be updating it. Can anyone tell me what is the first step I should do so that when the page load, I'll get the data so that I can show that data to the user here, and when user click the submit button, then data should be updated. So what is the first step? So there are few steps. What is the first step I should do here? Get first. So use effect. Okay, state is already there, but get first and use effect. So we need to write the use effect here. So always remember the use effect should start after you have all variables and functions created. After that, you to create the use effect. So I'll say react.use effect, and inside use effect, I will try to get the data. Okay, so let's get the data. So how to get the data? Let's go to the profile and document and see how to get the data. So if I go to objects, retrieving the objects. So if we have directly the ID, I can retrieve it using the get. So if you know this ID, you can retrieve it using this ID, using this method, get method. But right now we don't have this ID. We have only the user ID. So this method, the get method, will not work. So we need to use another method, and for that maybe the query. So in the query we use the find method. So let's use the find method to get it. So first is this line. We will start with the query. So in the use effect, I will say query equal to parse.query, and here I will put the table name. What table name I have to put? User details. And then I have to say query dot equal to, since I want for the particular user, I will name the key as a user and value will be the current user. This current user. Okay, so this current user, I can also directly take pass.user.current, because if I take this variable, I need to pass that variable in the dependency, which I don't want. So I'll just take directly the value pass.user.current. Okay, some sound is coming. Forget that sound. You just concentrate on my sound, because I think this mic is not perfect. I will try to fix my old mic. I used the temporary mic, and because of that, it's not working properly. It's not able to remove all the sounds. Okay, so it's okay. Now next line is I did equal to part. Now I want to get the results. So I'll say I can directly use the promise query dot find, and after find I will use the promise, like we use the promise then and catch block. Since this is a promise, we have to use then and the catch block. So here I will pass arrow function. Here also I will pass the arrow function. Okay. So here I will get some data, and here I will get the error. Error I will just print like this message, and data I will print right now what data is coming. So when the page will load, I will get the user details, pass the user for what I want the data, and I will get the data. And if data is coming, that means record is already there, I have to edit it. But if data is not coming, that means record is not there, then I have to create it. That thing we need to make sure. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's refresh it. When the page will load, I will get the data. So since data is here, that means I have data in the user detail table. I have to update it. Now, generally find is used if you have to find a lot of data, more than one. But if you want only one data, you can use the first. First will give the only one data. So here is the case where I want only one data, and that data is this one. Okay, so once I get this data, I will put this data in some state variable. Okay, so let me put in the values only. I will put, or I can create another set of state variable. I can say user data, and I'll say state user data. I'm creating new state variable for specifically for this one. Use state. Initially it will be null. And I will also try to see what is this value. Okay, so I created a new state variable with the initial value null. As soon as the data comes here, I will update the state variable by calling state user data, and I'll pass the data there. So this is a variable called as soon as I get the data for this user detail. And if we don't have this data, then user data will be null. But if we have that data, then user data will have some value in it. Let's check that one. Okay, so we have the user data because I currently have that data. For example, if I delete this part, delete this row, and then refresh the page, you will see I'm getting user data undefined because it's not there. That user doesn't exist. Okay, so now here, I will say, so this part, we are using post, and then we are using post. Here we have to do the changes. Is this clear, this part? How I am trying to get the data and updating in the user data. Is this clear? If it is clear, I can go further. Okay, so what we are doing, we are trying to get the data first and then updating the data in some state variable. Why we are putting in the state variable? I want the answer from you. Why we are putting in the state variable? Save the data from DB. Okay, so here I feel that putting in the user data is not the correct thing. I will update it in a few minutes, but let me explain you first. So since we have to get the data from the database, so we use this method. We always query the table and pass the condition, and then we get the data. Once we get the data, we have to save it somewhere. Okay, putting in the user data is not the right one, so I will delete it. Okay, we have to update this part in the values part. Okay, so I will also update here. I will update here with few values. Okay, with few values. First will be the ID, because whatever ID I will get here, the object ID, we need it for the updation. So I need that ID. So what I will do, I will create empty ID right now, or make it null right now. And once we get the data from the server, I will update this ID with that ID. So what I did, I called the use effect, because use effect is called when we load the page. Once we get the data, let's say if I say if data is there, if we have the data, what we will do, we'll update this state variable, and we'll update only the fields which we want to update it. So I will say set values, and how to update it everybody knows. We will put arrow function, and here I will put some key which will be nothing but this data, and then I will update the fields which I want. So to update it, I will say return, then I'll pass object v, and then I will put key value pairs which I want to update it. For example, I want to update ID. So can anyone tell me where will be the ID in this data? How can I access the ID? Data.id, correct, data.id. And I want to update the birth year. How can I get the birth year from the data? No, data.birth year is not right. ID is right, but birth year is not right. So if you want to see, so if I refresh it, right now there's no value, so you're not getting it. We have to get data from the server. That server data is coming here, and if it is there, then we update the values. So ID part is correct, we get the data ID, but if we want to get the birth year, we have to use, I know you have to see the data format from the server, but I have already shown in many previous videos. That's why I want to know how to access it. We already did todo app, we did the master page, we did the detail page. In there, I have shown you what is the format, right? So I was expecting you should know that format. So to get the birth, now I can show you, but I have to add the data and then only I can show you. But right now I clear the data, so I cannot show you now, but I will show you in few minutes. No, data.results.birth is also not correct. The correct is data.get. Now remember this one, because next time I will ask you, we have to say data.get birth year. And same thing for the about me. How will I get about me? It will be data.get about me. So all the fields which we have stated here will come in the format of data.get. Only the ID part will come as a data.id. So we updated the ID. We updated the ID about me birth year. Now, when the user will try to submit it, here we will check if we have that ID, values.id in the state variable. If we have this ID, then we will update this post with that ID. So I will say post.id equal to values.id. So if we have this ID, that means we want to edit it. And so here, when we are submitting it, we will check if values.id is there. That means if we have something in this place, then update it. So to update it, just we need to point this post to the ID which we have it, and rest thing will remain same. Okay, so just we have to put post.id equal to values.id. Also, this ACL part, if you need to update it, then only you have to put in update part. But if you want to put only in the new, if you want to put only when inserting, not on updating, then don't put it. So how can I avoid this ACL part if I am updating it? If I am updating it, I don't want to put the ACL. I don't want to change the ACL. So how can I skip this? I want to skip this ACL part if I am updating it. So what should I put here in the if condition so that this will be skipped when I am updating it? What should I put here? We don't have to check the ID is same. Forget about post ID. We just want to see if values.id is there or not. If we don't have values.id, that means it is creating new one. So I just check if no value.id, that means we are creating it, and I will put it like this. Do not compare value.id with the post.id. Okay, so just keep this separate. So I will check if value.id is not there, that means this is not updated, that means it is the new one, that is the creation part. So this means it is creation part. So we will put this part. And when we have the values.id, that means we are editing the record. So we will use post.id equal to values.id. And rest will remain same. Okay, so we will check it now. Here I'll put birth here and I'll put some about me and then I'll update it. Once I update it, I'll go here and check it. So I can see this about me is there, user is there, birth here is there. Now I'll refresh it. Once I refresh it, you will see my values are already there. Why values are already there? Because once I refresh the page, I get the data here and I update the state values with the birth year about me. So you are able to see the updated value here, birth year and about me. I don't have to do any other linking. It is automatically linked. I will update it. I will update the year also. And then I'll update a profile. Once I update a profile, it will see that values.id is there. Since values.id is there, it will update it. It will not create a new record. So if I refresh here, so you will see birth year is updated and the about me is also updated. And I can update it n number of times now. So what we did, let me regroup the things. Okay, let me write it down so you can understand. So we are creating user detail page. We have to create the form. Okay, we created the form already. Then on page load, we try to get the data from user details page for logged in user. If we got data, we updated state values, specifically ID. All other fields are there, but specifically ID, though other fields are there. Then what we do, on submission, we check if state variable ID has some value in it. If some value is in it, if we have value in state variable ID, then it means we are editing it. And if we don't have value in state ID, then it means we are creating new record. And based on our logic, we update or create the record. Okay, so this is what we did. We created the form, which is here. On the page load, we query the table, we get the data, and if we have the data, we update the state variable. What we update? We update the birth year, about me, and ID. And when we are submitting it, then we check if value.id is there. That means if value.id is there, that means we are editing it. And so we have to put post.id equal to values.id. But if value.id is not there, that means ID is null. Then that means we are creating new record, and I don't want to do this one. I don't want to put this line. And then I set all the fields. And when I And then here I have to put ACL. ACL has to be put only on the creation part. Since ACL has to be put on the creation part, so I check if not value.id. That means this should be null. If it is null, that means I'm creating the new record. So I have to put the ACL part. And then I save the data. And I will get this data. Once I save it, I will redirect the user to some other page. For example, I will say props.history.push. Maybe I can send it to main page. Let me pass the props here. Okay, history is already there, so we don't need to put props. Let me change this to user profile. Even if I don't change it, it will work. But I will change it to user profile. And history is already there. I will push the user to main page once the data is saved. So let's refresh it again. I get the data. I change it 74. I change some about me. I update it. So it's redirecting to the main page. Let's go again to the user details. User profile. So now it is updated data, updated birth year. We can see it. Is this clear how I did it? Okay, so no need to think that you don't remember everything. You need to just understand the small part, why I'm putting this, why I'm putting this one. Also, I want to put this user part only when I create it. So I will move that here in this part. Because user creation, user setting also should be done when it is new record. When we are updating it, I don't need to set this user to current user because current user is already there. Now, we also need to update this first name and last name. Okay, so we need to take care of that also. First name and the last name. So to take care of that name, first and last name, here inside this handle submit, I have taken care of the user detail table, but I have to take care of user table also to update the first name and last name. To take care of that user table, I will do like this. So here I will say we are updating user details table here. Okay, we need to update user table also. So to update user table is very simple. We have to take the current user and we have to say set, and I have to set the first name to whatever I want to put it, like values dot first name, and then I'll say current user dot set last name equal to values dot last name. Then I have to say current user dot save. So once I say save, whatever field we have put, it will be saved. Though we need to attach this then and catch also. Okay, which I will attach it now, but I will not do anything here in then. So I don't want to do anything, so I can right now avoid it, but later on I will put it that way. Okay, right now I'll just say current user dot save. I have to add then and catch also for other things to be done, but right now I'll just put catch. So let me refresh it. So now I'll change the name also. Instead of mango, I'll say grape. And here I'll say banana. Okay, just anything. I cannot change the email. Let's change this one 1976. Updated 1. And I'll say update. So once I update it, it will go to another page. But in the network panel, I can see. So once user detail is updated, okay, user detail is called, and this is user table batch. Okay. So we can go into detail of each one and see which one we updated it. But right now let's check the user profile. So it got grapes and banana updated to the new one. And this one is also changed, this one is also changed. So everything is changed. So we updated the current user table and we updated the user details table. So those who have not written it, they can add this part, and this is already I gave you time to do it. Just add this part to update the user table. Okay, so we can also set the error when error is there. This error is there. I can set the error to error dot message, and we can display that error on the page. Okay, so right now I don't need this data because it is not being used, and we will display the error where we will display here. Here we are displaying the error. So if anything happens and error comes, we will update the set error function with the message which we get. Here also I will update it so that user can see the message and we can take appropriate action for the each error. Okay, so that's all about this user profile. So we will be doing more on the user profile because we just updated few fields. We just go on adding more fields every week to make this very big enough. Okay, right now we have only this one. So this is about the user profile. So let's now talk about so since now you're familiar with the path, how we are doing the things, we will start the project which I had talked yesterday. So these three things I will do later. So first we have to do this to-do app, task list, my notes, my history, URL saver, and whatnot. It is similar, all other similar one. Okay. We already did to-do app previously in few days back. Okay. But we will do again in this one, and you will see what things I'm doing it. I will not be using the live query in any of this one. Big known for now. Only thing live query I will use is in some app like chat user for now, or commenting I will use it, but not for this one. This one we will do without live query. Okay. So let's start with this one and we will see how to do further. Okay. So let's close this one. Okay, so I will first give the idea what I am trying to do, and you have to do it in front of me. I will try to avoid doing it. You have to explain me everything. Okay, so to do it, we already did it, and I will give you now basic guidelines. So to do app is only I will create. Right now I will create everything in one page. Then I will move it to different pages as per I need it, or I can keep it in the same page also. Okay, this is for learning purpose, so I don't mind putting it everything in one page. But what functionality we need? First thing is we need to add to do task or item. Okay, so since we need to add it, we need the form with one text field as one simple text box, nothing else, and submit button. Okay, then I want list of to do items. So whatever items I put, I want to see those items. So here I may make UL, or I make some display here on it, UL, li tag, or something like that, to show the items to the user. Okay, so that's what I will be doing it here. I will add pagination. Okay, and whenever the new to do item is submitted, after submission, I will put data in database, and then I will retrieve the records, because this list of to do items will be displayed whatever is there currently. But as soon as I put the data, I will also retrieve the records again, so that user can see the to do items again on the screen. So since I'm not using the live query, I have to retrieve the records manually so that user can see the new items. And when I retrieve the items, when I see the list of to do items, I will make sure that user who is logged in, I can retrieve for them only. Only I have to take that data. I cannot take the data of some other user, because this is a to do thing which is personal to me, and it is only tied to me. So remember one thing in this, in the first one, in the user profile, we give the ACL of public access to read. But when I'm doing the to do app, I will make sure that read is also allowed to me and write is also allowed to me. Okay, that thing we have to do. So we are building this one, and I will build quickly, but I need your help in building everything. Okay, that's what we will do. So our first one, the first routing one will be to do app. Okay, so this all things will remain as it is. I will be building everything inside the home. We are calling the layout one right now. We are not trying to do any changes in the layout, which we will do later when the time will come. Okay, now the purpose is to build the functionality, not to concentrate on the layout part. Okay, so layout will not be changed right now. I will just go to the website one, home. So this is my to do app will come. So here I will just mention to do application. So that is what I will doing it here. To do application. For now, I don't like this header and footer. For now, I will hide it. Later on, when we build the layout, we will add it again. Okay, so right now I just say it's saying to do application. Now I have to start building this to do application. What is the first thing I have to do now? First thing, I just wrote it here, right? All things. Now tell me, what is the first thing I have to do? Create a form. So to create a form, I need the add component. So let's create the add component. Okay, so add component will come. So let's call this add component here. Okay. So before I even write everything, I will just create Yes, we need to import the create form. Yeah, we will do the form. So let me first create the functions which I will be using here, or components which I will be using here. One is the add component. Second is the list or list of to do. So here say list will come here. So this will be the list. So after add, I will add the list one. Next, I want the display counter, that how many records are there. Okay, so here I will say return. So this is the display counter. I also want the pagination, so I will just create a pagination. The pagination part will come here. Okay, so let's call one by one, then we can rearrange anywhere, one below the other. I can move display counter up, or I can move below, whatever I want I can do later. Okay, so the home component is only this much, and then we will go through in each one, we will add it and do it whatever we want. So if we go to the material UI, let's go to material UI. I need the container where I will put everything inside it. So let's try to grab the container. Okay, so I'll grab this container. Let's grab this container. And then I'll put this read code here. Let's put it here, and then I'll put everything inside it. This is the box. I will put inside the box, and I don't need the border color or height kind of thing. Maybe I can give some padding of 5 pixels. And this max width, let's increase it to MD. Okay, so let's check it now. Okay, and this is my to do application. If I change it to SM, okay, let's keep a SM, and then we will make it MD or LG, whatever we want. So I put this text to do application. If we want to go really material one, so instead of text, we need to use typography. We cannot use the text directly. So let's try to use the typography. Okay, so this is heading 1. Okay, so this is the, let me take this is the typography. Let's take this one. Okay, component is H2, variant is H1. Let's take another example. I'm just checking which one I should take. Okay, let's check this one. Let's take this typography part. Okay, let's put it here. So it's saying it will put div, but it will look like H1. Okay. Here it will look like H1, but it's taking H2. Okay, so let's put div also is fine. And I need to import the typography. It's saying it component will be div, but it will look like H1. It's bigger in the size and all. This component is div, but it will look like H2. Okay, let's put the typography also. Okay, now we'll see. It's too big. I don't want it. Let's make it as 3. Okay, so this is good enough. Yeah, this is good enough to do application. Okay, so now we need to add the form for it. So let's go and add the form. So first we need only one field, that is the input box, which we can grab from our widgets. So let's grab from the widgets. We'll go to the user profile and get it from there. So in the user profile, they use the grid, and let's try to use same thing here. In the add column, we will add. In the add, we will add the grid. Okay, we need to import it also, grid part. Okay, then what we did in the user profile, let's copy. We have internal grid. This is another internal grid. Let's put this one. We need input box to be imported. Let's import this one. Okay, and we need the values of email and handle change. So how will I get the email? How will I get this value? Here it will be different name, to do. Label will be to do item. So how will I get this value? What should I do to get the value? Okay, we need the state variable. Now I can create a state variable directly in the add function, or I can create the state variable in the main parent container and use that all over the places. Okay, so it's up to me where I want to create it. Okay, so generally I prefer things, I can put in add also. It's not hard and fast rule, but for this application, let's keep it here, and then we will pass that there. Okay, right now we'll keep it here. So what should we give the value? Since it's only one value, I will not create object. I will set to do and set to do. Okay, and this to do I will pass in the add component, and I will also pass the set to do. So here I will grab it. I am grabbing to do and set to do, and I'll replace a value with a to do. And on the change, I will get name value pair. So maybe I can call handle change here, not to do. Let's call the handle change, and here I will create a handle change function. Handle change will be like that. It will get the name and value pair, and so I can update. I don't need the name kind of thing here, because here we are not saving it as an object. We need only this, only the value. So I'll just say set to do and value. We don't need the name here. Is this plot clear? Why we don't need the name? Who can tell me why we don't need the name? Because we don't have the object here. We have simple one value. So if we would have the object, we would have updated key value pair with the name and the value. But since we have only one value, so we just use this one value. Okay, so let's try to add it. And now here after that I need to put the button. So let's grab the button here. So after all grid is over, I will just add the button. Okay, edit button here. So we need to import button also. Okay. We don't need this type equal to submit because we have not created the form. We just created the okay. Let's take this. Okay. This one and this one is not matching the counters because I just put it here. Let's try to put here and grab it here and put it below it. And let's grab everything and put it inside the fragment. Okay, now I can see counters are matching. Or how about div? Let's put it inside the div. And here I will give style of margin top 25 pixel because I need some spacing from to do and this one. Okay, so now I am getting the spacing, and here let's add some label also. Same way as we did typography, let's try to add the typography. Let's check the typography. Heading 6 is fine. And let's put the typography here. Okay, add to do atom, you can put anything and then you can see it. I need to remove the disabled part, or disabled equal to false, type equal to text. Okay. Or this doesn't look good. Okay, I will remove this typography. Okay, now it's fine. I will add it. Nothing is happening because we have not taken a row on click. Where should I put the on click? Because I want to put this in the database when someone click the button. So where should I put on click? Inside the button. So I'll put it here on click equal to, I will put one function and here I will insert into the database. So to insert into the database we need the parse, this parse part. Okay. Now here I have to write the insert part which we already did here. So I'll take this first line of the code and put it here. We created the post, but here I will name it as to do. Actually, my database may have many applications. This is one I'm teaching to you. Maybe one I will teach to another group. So I don't want to mess all the things. So maybe I will append with something that I know. Everything which I teach you will be appended with, maybe I can say T1. So okay, everything, all the tables which I create will be appended with a T. So I know that it is your group. Let's, because you know this pass server, I will host it at one place, and I want to put everything, all of my apps go here. So I just want to differentiate what I'm doing. So I will append everything with a T1. Next will be the post kind of thing. I created this post, and then I will set the things. Okay, so what thing I have to do, and what value I have to take. I have to take the value this to do. I can put this in another function which is better handled. Maybe I can create a function here in the home, handle submit, and inside that I will put the code, and I will pass this handle submit here as a part of prop. And in the add, I will try to get that handle submit. And when submit button is clicked, I will just call this submit one. Okay, so I will put all the code inside this handle submit. Next thing which I have to do is ACL and the user. So let's put the ACL and the user. Current user I haven't defined, but I can take this part, pass.user.current directly. I'll take user as this one. I want to put the right axis also to this user. So I'll say set right axis to this user. One second. Okay, so I give the permission to me, right axis is also to me, right, and read axis also to me. Okay, so both the places I give the permission to myself, the one who is logged in. If you are logged in, you will get the permission. If I am logged in, I will get the permission. Then I'll just say save this part. I will not redirect user to any other page now. Once I submit it, okay, I'll just save it, and then I will retrieve the data again to display it in the list page. Okay, so right now I'll just console.log, but I will retrieve it. Okay, so this is the one, I am retrieving it. So what I'm doing, I am submitting it in the, this is pretty much straightforward. What we did it in the user profile, it's similarly we are doing it here. And once data is here, that means it is submitted, I will retrieve the data so I can show it in the list page. I have not written that function. I will write it down. So I will finish this tomorrow, but let's see if submission is going correctly or not. Okay, I have to empty this part also, which I'll do tomorrow. Let's double check if things are going fine. So I created T1 to do, and it has all the data to do, user who created it, and ACL read write is to this user and nobody else. If everyone else will try to access it, they will not see this post. This post is visible to only me. So what you have to do now, you have to go through this file. Whatever I did, you complete it today. Once I am done with this project, I want everyone to do this task list, my notes, my history, URL saver. So you have to do here in the class. So let's say start with the task list. You have to do complete task list in front of me. I will just watch. You have to share your screen and you have to do it. So make sure whatever I do today, you should be prepared, because tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you will get chance to do this task list or my notes. Forget about task list. We'll do the my notes. So you have to do the my notes part. And maybe task list also or history also, all we have to do. And this all 4 will be done by you. I will only just watch how you are doing it. So one person will start with the ad, another will go with the list, another will go with display, anything like that. So make sure whatever I did today, you should, go through it thoroughly. It will be in the similar way only. There will be few changes which we will see in each project differently. Okay, that's it for our today.